See, we're trying to record it, so the microphone isn't really going into the system, it's going into here. So the basic idea here was that there's talks in our sections, chapter talks. I'm on mute. Can you hear me? Oh, okay, good. Okay. So we have technical talks in our sections, but they're transitory things. They go away, right? So when you're done, you can't have that again. The idea here is to try to record and capture that content. And actually, you get some of these technical chapter talks, maybe cutting-edge information or really useful tutorials, information on products that could be of interest to people. So there is genuine value generated in doing this. And it's generated at the local level, at the grassroots level, at our sections. So the idea here was to try to create a simple method to be able to record these technical meetings and make them available for IEEE members worldwide. And so we actually got a grant. John is involved with the Computer Society, also is from Region 4. And Bob Perro, of course, is the Region 4 director. And I'm the Region 6 director, Tom Coughlin. And so we decided to get an initiative to the new Initiatives Committee of IEEE on basically setting up a capability for recording technical chapter meetings, be able to put them online, have them be accessible to IEEE members. And so this is the program to do that. And we've done research. Ron Benson here has been doing research on microphone kits, and that's the stuff we've been offering here. We're all out of the Region 4 kits now, but we do have some for Region 6 folks that we can still get rid of. And if those aren't claimed by Region 6, we can do some Region 4 stuff a little later on. But we'll get more later on. In fact, Scott isn't here, but Scott Tamashiro can have them Amazon shipped to anywhere for free. Okay, so, you buy them and Amazon ship, so we could do that. We'll do the same kind of offer. What the offer is $70. It's a $170 kit. It includes a wireless mic, this type. It includes a lavalier mic and also a headset. And so you get all those. Plus, you get this dual channel receiver, so you get two microphones at one time. So you could have one microphone for the audience, one for the speaker. For questions, that sort of thing. So we got this kit. It's $170. We're making it available for $100. And that way we can use this money we got from the new initiative committee to buy more microphones and get more chapters doing it. So we're working in Chapter 4 and Chapter 6 right now. The idea is to eventually get this out to other regions worldwide. This will be available for viewing by any IEEE member. It's going to be hosted, as John will tell you, on special hardware in the Computer Society. And this will allow for viewing, either downloading or viewing this content live. Okay. And it could be used, for instance, if you're in a remote area, you could have this be your technical chapter meeting. Somebody else's recorded technical chapter could be also your technical chapter meeting. So it's a useful way to get very, very high-level content. You'll be able to do searches on the abstract, on the speaker, any word in the abstract, on the speaker. You'll be able to do comments on whether it's good stuff. You'll be able to share links with other people. And IEEE members will be able to get this content for free. We'd like to have it so we can set up a storefront so non-members could either join IEEE or they could buy a copy of that piece of content for $4.99 or $9.99, something like that. So it's creating a real value for IEEE members, and it's value and content created at the grassroots level, created by volunteers. Our goal is to create the simplest system as we can to do it. This Camtasia recording records the PowerPoint and voice of the speaker, plus with the wireless mic, handheld mic like I've got here, you can go out and get questions from the audience, have that be part of the recording. So that's the plan. That's what we're trying to do here. We want to get people doing this. There's a learning curve in here. This is part of the training. We want you to learn how to do this so that you can train your section chapter chairs to be able to do this and have this be spread out with as many sections as possible. Sometimes, you'll run into problems. All of us have already run into problems here. Like Joe, I've worked with him. He's the Santa Clara Valley at the Consumer Electronics Society chapter. But, it can work. We can get good, valuable content on there, and I think that we can teach each other and create something of real value coming from the grassroots, coming from the volunteers. So that's my pitch.
Thank you, Tom.
Thanks.
Put this here. Tom's going to be our Q&A guy. So I have an outline here. We're going to give some PowerPoint instruction. We're going to do a video, and then we're going to have hands-on lab. And Zoom from San Diego section had an emergency. He couldn't be here today. So he's putting together a team that if you ever have trouble with the audio or the video, that they have a first video editing capability. My team is Ron Dennison, our audio expert, Mike from Region 4, we're back there, Zuna mentioned, and Joseph from San Diego. We also have, you saw Tom Coughlin, Bob Perrell, Region 6 is also our partner on this seed grant. You as section officers are going to be trained today so you can give the same training, the same PowerPoint to your chapter officers. We want to make sure that the people closest to the technical, am I breaking up?
Yeah. Get closer. Hang on. Let's check the battery first. Oh yeah, we're getting low on battery. Sorry.
Let's do a pause.
I don't think we have any spares.
Well, there's a basic charge in all of them, aren't there? Isn't there?
Yeah.
Okay, this is, the team. So, as you heard from Tom, we want you to go back and train the chapter officers. The first thing they're going to do is to get a permanent license.
Switch buttons. It may be just there's something strange about the antenna.
Okay. And the IEEE staff is involved in handling the distribution system. Ted in our corner here, he's our point person. He's going to be handing out the permanent licenses. And Steve Woods is doing the same thing for our conference keynotes. Now, what I did in the last session was I revealed to you how to get a license. And this is a free license, and the password will work for the next 30 days. So if you have a laptop and you want to try this out, you can start downloading it. When you do our demo, you can use it on your own laptop. The hardest thing is getting this URL right, and my last name is no T. So that the same laptop you use for your chapter officer to run this through, you can use the same my license. But we want to empower the lowest level officer to that's connected with your technical meetings to feel comfortable on using this software.
Is this a one license per microphone? Or is this
No, this is multiple. You can put it on multiple computers. Like the first session, we must have put it on 30 computers.
I noticed it only runs an OS X version 10.8 or later. So.
Oh, another reason to upgrade. Everybody get the URL?
So that's to get the license or to use the software?
That's when you get that web page, you have a choice of downloading the PC version or the Mac version. If you have an Android phone, you can use, there's another version, and an iPhone.
So that gets you to the download.
Right. And then you'll put in the same John Walz Relay 123, I'm sure.
We can create our own credentials.
Pardon?
We can create our own login ID.
When you get your, at the chapter level, get your license, Ted will be, it's an automatic process. You'll get something, you can change the password, but I think it's always your first and last name. So the goal here is pretty much what Thomas mentioned. One thing he might have missed is few of us in the leadership of IEEE recognize that the technical societies and their chapters aren't really working close enough. And we see this as a way of being very attractive, making the chapters more attractive to the technical societies so that they are more engaged in getting access to distinguished lectures and listening to your feedback on which distinguished lectures are really giving relevant talks.
quick question. So if we have a non-computer society deal come in for another chapter,
Yeah, we need you to.
so these meetings are not just restricted to computer society meetings?
No,
It can be
any of the technical societies, yeah.
Do we need speakers permission or this?
Yes, I'll get in. The speaker has to share his copyright with IEEE, and you'll find some speakers that may say no, but so when you are scheduling, making that commitment up front, you need to tell them.
John, almost all this is in your presentation. Maybe you want to ask some other questions.
Yeah, right. These are answered a little bit later. When I was president of the Computer Society, I talked about 12 chapters around the world, and I found some barriers, and I felt that getting more engagement at the chapter level, if they can't meet your meeting, but they can view it, they can download it, that would be better. And one dilemma, not with the Computer Society, but other chapters, they put a lot of focus on cultivating the high-quality authors for journals, and they're not really supporting their chapters. And I think once they find that there's another type of intellectual property that's maybe more relevant to industry professionals, that'll make it a closer partnership. So a year ago, I presented Tom's idea to Computer Society. We passed. I think.
Let's switch back to the lavalier. Yeah.
Lavalier?
Yeah, there's something wrong with
Yeah.
Mike. What do we do with the lavalier?
Does any change the microphone?
So I got support from the Computer Society, and that's why we have our IT group and Ted helping us. So the goal here is to give you slides, a video, and for you to actually have hands-on demo with this license. On the benefits, we see this helpful for the portion of your members that do not attend your face-to-face meetings. In previous sessions, we've heard that 10% of your members might be attending your technical meetings, and anything to do to get that up is good. We think that, as I mentioned earlier, this type of technology is attractive to industry professionals. I heard a story last night that sometimes a small company will have something they want to patent, but they have to get it published. And by the time you run through peer review of some journal, it might take 6 months. But if they had confidence that IEEE was going to save this video forever to be used possibly in a patent infringement years later, they could come to your meeting and say, here's their greatest idea and it's patent pending, and that would be helpful for that small segment of your audience that are in that type of position of the development curve. It's a chance for another measure of vitality. Right now you have the L31 for people that show up. Maybe in the future we can use the number of downloads for your technical meetings to show another view of vitality. And with the feedback, we're hoping to put a social media context in here so you can find out, besides the number of downloads, what people think, ad hoc comments, and that'll help you find a better fit of lecturers for your technical meetings than you've used before. And for a person early in their career, their first non-company presentation might be at your chapter meeting. That could be helpful for their career growth. And in the surveys, we understand, at least from the consultants, that anytime you can help someone in their career growth, there's a strong affiliation with that professional society. It encourages renewals. Intellectual property has a wide range of continuum from books to free YouTubes, and we're trying to find the sweet spot for what this type of technology attracts. So I have a couple most here for the chapter, the section. The people that missed that meeting, they can view it within a week, or probably most likely the next day. The technical societies will which have a global footprint, you might say, can offer that same technical talk around the world. it's a rich IP offering. We're going to, besides having this video file, we're going to have the abstract of the speaker, his bio, his technical keywords for searching, and hopefully, if on occasion they're willing to give you the PDF slides. There's only half of IEEE members belong to technical society, and all of us are in technology, and we all have needs for continuing education, and this might be one way that benefits, you get a benefit from their IEEE membership. And then, of course, the non-members, which a large portion of your technical meetings have non-IEEE members. They can be consumers of our store of this intellectual property, and they'll realize the advantages of joining IEEE and the associated society. I think this is an extra slide. It's been redundant. So getting down to the technology, this stepping backwards, if you're the officer of a chapter that is planning out the technical program for the year, you need to understand your membership, what is interesting topics for them, use those topics to solicit lecturers, get a lecturer that's willing to pick out a date and give you this information, including the releasing the intellectual property, sharing the copyright with IEEE, commit to a date, get the thing signed, have your announcement for the technical meeting, have the technical meeting, and then afterwards, that night or the next day, review what's been done, trimming the beginning and the ending of the presentation, and making a submission to have the encoding done. You'll get back an email message with a link on where it is. You can post that on your chapter or section website. You may find that there's a flaw in the editing, like we just took 2 breaks here. The editing software with this package doesn't allow me to say stop and cut out those. Even though I put it on pause, there's probably 10 seconds in both of those where you would use post-editing software to take it out of the MP4. This is an MP4 format by default. And then we have, as I mentioned, we're going to put this on the web and have social networking, get the viewers, the people buying this, getting their opinions. So that's the big timeline. Now I'm going to jump in to the technical meeting itself. And so basically, for those who are downloading the software, it's on your laptop. You can put it on the presenter's laptop. If a presenter doesn't want it, if he's got like a government laptop, but you can't install software, you can run this off a thumb drive. You just need to have a gigabyte for an hour's worth of video. We're keeping this, there's some very efficient cloud providers that allows us to be streamed at a pretty good rate. For those who take long airplane flights, you want to download it to your laptop and watch it without internet. And then we have a variety of formats that this can fit on. And I've already seen it fit on the Android tablet. We did that in the first session. So a little more detail. One license can handle many computers. This is on with what we paid for is the lowest price license to run on our servers. And in the future, if we get hundreds of these done a day, you might see a long delay time for the encoding. In that case, we need your feedback so we can upgrade that license to 3 times the capability or 7 times or even higher. And what we're going to be, the license I gave to you, put it on screencast.com. Later on, we'll move it to another provider. But it'll be behind, you might say, the IEEE login. We want to give this away free to members. And for those that want to pay for it, non-members, we will give them to a store.
Quick question. The PowerPoint thing is not a gigabyte, but the processed video is a gigabyte.
Right.
Okay. Do you have any idea how the original file, how big the original files are?
No.
Okay.
I did an hour-long test at a Chicago chapter meeting. It was like 1.5 gigabytes for 90 minutes, and then I used the more expensive version, a single license, and then it crunched it down with an MP4 down to like 3/4 of a gigabyte. So that's all behind the scenes. So now Ron's going to come up and explain the art of audio connections.
You may have that. I need to show people all the problems that we can generate. And by the way, I still don't quite understand why that mic was cutting out, so we'll have to do some troubleshooting later. Okay, let's go. Okay, so what's in the box is basically this unit right here. We're actually using one as we speak to act as a wireless microphone. Typically, for small venues, you don't require house audio. In other words, 20, 30 people, most speakers are quite audible. You don't need house audio, but we do want to record it. So that's why we need the microphone input. Now, you could use a wired microphone into Camtasia. There's no problem with that. But everybody was concerned about that because of the tendency of speakers to walk around, gesture, change their head position. Any fixed microphone, such as this, has a problem that as soon as the person moves away from it a little bit too far or turns their head to use to look at the slide or to use a laser pointer, suddenly they go away. All right?
So you are saying the whole thing in the box is $100?
Yes. Yeah. What's in the box is $100. Plus, there's the batteries for it and a cable, which we'll get into in a minute.
So
You're breaking up.
I'm breaking up again? Okay.
Put it in your pocket.
Your body is between the transceiver and the...
Right, yeah. Which is why it's usually good to put it out in this direction.
I have a question. Could
Yep.
your cell phone be interfering with the band of the microphone?
Unlikely.
If we run into problems where they interfere.
Yeah, basically, though, this is using the UHF spectrum. And a little bit about that. There's a spectrum auction that's going to happen here, is happening. And we're basically using the spectrum for the various UHF stations. So one of the things is that there's 200 channels here. You have to pick a channel that's not used by a UHF station in your area. Okay? And it uses portions of that spectrum which are sort of more adjacent to the main UHF channel, but you still have to test it out ahead of time and choose the right channel.
What frequency range?
Offhand, I don't recall. I have to look it up. This is, yes.
In case of issues, you can always use fixed microphone, right?
Yes, in case of issues, you can always use a fixed microphone. There's some issues with that. I'm going to talk about microphones, okay? So basically what you do, you take it out of the box, you put the antennas on, you put the power cord in, and then you hook it up however you will, and we'll talk about that. To start with, I'm going to say that we recommend this mic, and I'll get more into that later. Okay, connection to the PC and the mixer. Fundamentally, there's two ways to connect things in audio. Okay, one is with a unbalanced circuit, which is basically a tip and sleeve connection, and the other is with a balanced, which uses typically the XLR connector or the tip ring sleeve connector. Okay, that looks like a stereo connector. It is not. Okay, in fact, if you put that into a stereo input, you will get something very garbled out of it. The technology is very straightforward. This is an impedance match line. Therefore, when you subtract the two, when you add the two at the end, the noise is canceled out. The use of balanced cables is really only required with either very long cable runs or cable runs where you're running AC power in the same run. That means for all practical purposes, we do not need to use balanced cables. Okay? And it turns out that the cable that comes with the unit is an unbalanced cable. And what happens is it actually combines the two microphones into a single mixed output, which you can then take wherever you want. Okay, case one, no house audio. Basically, you can talk loud enough to talk to everybody. All you're going to do is record it in Camtasia. Very simple. You take the 1/4-inch audio out of the back of the unit, and you use we are giving you, each unit comes with a 1/4-inch audio cable. We're giving you a 1/4 to 1/8-inch adapter, which basically fits into the microphone jack in all laptops. If you have that combined jack where it's microphone and the two stereo, it turns out that the tip is always the microphone. So it will always work. Case two, using house audio with access to the mixer. This is the best case. And what happens is, fundamentally, you can hook up to a laptop in a variety of ways. One that we suggest is using essentially the prior arrangement and then using the two XLR outputs to go to the mixer. Then you have to buy some XLR cables. There are other ways to do it. For example, you can get this right here, which is the Y cable. It basically takes the single output from the box and creates two outputs out of it. Most mixers, if you look at this, have regular 1/4-inch inputs as well as the XLR inputs. Also, you can buy the 1/4 to XLR lines. We have all different kinds of cables that can be used. You can even get 1/4-inch to USB if you want to use the USB input instead of the microphone input. There's a whole variety of ways you can do it. But the thing to understand is that the best way is to have access to the mixer and then split the output of the mixer. One side going to the house audio and the other side going to the laptop with a Camtasia on it. At that point, if you want to if you want to be really professional, then you run the presenting PC from the back of the room where the mixer is, and you let the speaker use the slide advance retard mechanism. And that gets you the most control over the quality of the recording.
Does the mixer include inside the box? Or not?
No. The mixer would be part of the house audio system wherever you are. If you have a house audio system, there is a mixer, even a simple one. For example, right here, we have the mixer that we're using here. And you can see, even though normally they only simply use one microphone as an input, they have a 10-channel mixer. Okay. Now, this case sometimes happens where you don't have access to the mixer. The mixer's in a secure area. This is very common in hotels and restaurants if you meet there. In that case, what you do is you simply take every microphone has as an output an XLR connector. You simply take the XLR connector from the speaker's microphone in the back of the wireless box and hook it into where the microphone goes normally into the audio system. And then for the Camtasia recording, you simply, again, use the same connection, the 1/4-inch audio out. Okay? So it's really very straightforward, and everybody's situation is going to be a little different. Let's talk about microphones. Okay. So, where did our mic go?
On the front there.
Oh, no, that's not it. That one's not powered.
Maybe this one?
Yes, that one. Sorry. Okay. So, the hardest thing to get speakers to do is to use a microphone properly. So we're going to start with a case where you have either a handheld like this or a podium mic. Now, what we're seeing here is, bring this up a bit.
It's muted.
Oh, it's muted. Okay. Let me take the level down then. Oh, okay. Yeah. So it turns out that this has a cardioid sensitivity pattern. If you talk like this, it's distorting. Also, Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers. If it's directly in line with the speaker's mouth, you are going to get those P sounds. So what you want to do is you want to move it down so that it's about 4 to 6 inches away from the speaker's mouth. And you can hold it any orientation here, whatever's comfortable. Okay, that's the proper location. The problem is if it's a fixed mic, the speaker's going to move away from it, and every time they turn their head, you're going to lose audio. Okay, so that's that guy. The next one is the lavalier, which I'm using right now. The midline, because basically every time they turn their head, you're going to lose them a little bit. But if it's in the middle, you'll mostly have them. As close to the throat as possible because you want the most inherent gain at the microphone. The more you have to turn up the gain here on the mixer or on the wireless microphone box, the closer you get to feedback. And so, for example, if I turn up the gain just slightly more, we get that. Okay? We don't want that. So that defines the amount of headroom there is in the room. That's the best you can do for recording. The reason that gain is important in recording is that if the level is set too low and you're making up with it, what you'll bring up is all the extraneous sounds. Coughing, speaking next door, people rattling papers, whatever else there is going on. That's going to come up too, and it makes the recording not very intelligible. If, on the other hand, you're too high, then you get overmodulation and it's hard to understand speech as well. Okay? It's that simple. Last one, the one we recommend and the one that seems to be giving us trouble here, is the headset. Okay? The right position is the corner of the mouth. If you put it in front of the mouth, you have the same problem that you do if somebody's trying to handhold one of these things. When you do that, this microphone is not a dynamic microphone. See what happens? It cuts out. The reason it cuts out is it's overmodulating and it basically stops for a moment so as everything comes back, tries to get back to normal. The other thing that you get, and again, you should never handhold one of these mics because you hear all the noise in the background. That's just because I'm moving it. So you never want it in front of a person's mouth. You always want it to the side. Okay. And putting it all together, you basically make a short test recording. Camtasia encourages you to do this. They create a 10-second test as part of the normal starting process. There's a difficulty, though. Speakers, the more enthusiastic they get, the louder they talk. The less uncertain they are, the less certain they are, or as if they have to think about something, they sometimes start out very softly. So the ideal thing is to manage it from the mixer and take the output to Camtasia from the mixer. That way you can continually adjust for the speaker's changing in level of enthusiasm. Okay. Check the level and the clarity in the recording. If it's okay, just go ahead. I should point out that there are 5 volume or gain controls in the circuit. There are typically 2 on the mixer, the individual and the group. There are 2 on your laptop. There's the system one and the Camtasia one. And then, of course, there's 1 on the wireless receiver itself. Okay. Always adjust the gains to be about 2/3 to 3/4 of the way up. If you go all the way, you get into the nonlinear portion of most of the amplifiers and you'll see distortion. Okay? There is a troubleshooting 2 pages in the Camtasia manual. I have a white paper which will be distributed with this that explains everything I just said and a lot more. And those 2 pages are part of the white paper. All right? So, any questions right now? Yes, one?
I used lavaliers for our conference.
Yeah.
We bought various types of lavaliers, and we had always had problems with the lavaliers. So would you recommend what type of lavalier we should buy?
Well,
if it is...
I do this semi-professionally. And we've used, for large conferences, we've used, typically used Shure equipment, and I don't like it. Actually, these work better than the Shure stuff for us. So that's why we picked them to give to you folks. There is always a problem with a lavalier or these other mics because they typically don't have the inherent gain that you get from a dynamic mic. You know, they're basically electrets. Okay, and that's a different type of technology. Any other questions? Okay. Yes.
Question in the back.
These are unidirectional microphones?
What?
These are unidirectionals?
Oh, in the box, you actually get all three microphones.
Question in the back.
But they are all unidirectional or only?
Oh, the dynamic microphone is a cardioid response pattern. The electret is typically a conical, and it tends to be single direction as well. So there's a back and a front to the electret mic. Yeah, question in the back.
So I was like, when we apply to for this, how much longer in advance we need to apply for to have a recorded section set up?
You don't have, you can record it without any. I'll let John answer that one. Sorry, John. By the way, if you have somebody managing the mixer, when people change mics, you can shut them down temporarily.
Can you hear me now? So you just arrived, you might be late. We are supplying people sections with the wireless system. If you have your own for your section, then you can get started right away. The license, software license, I can give you the login afterwards. It's free. So the goal here is for you to feel comfortable enough with the slide material that you can sit down with the chapter officer most relevant to managing those technical meetings, so he's empowered to do the work. Thank you, Ron. So I'm going to go over slides showing you how to download an example of the copyright form, the 12 easy steps for doing a recording, what it looks like when you submit it, and what it looks like on email when you get back to see the length of your MP4 encoding. So this is the URL that many of you typed in already. This is John Walz's license, and this is your Relay 123 password to get the thing running. When you to download, you have at least two choices. One for the Mac, one for the PC. In the previous session, people used both the iOS and the Android applications. We didn't figure out how to get these two sent out back to IEEE.org, but you can see it on your phone. This is the half of the first page of 3 pages of a copyright form that I pulled out for conferences. We have a less restricted one for sharing technical meetings, and I have an email in to get that information. Basically, the intent is the speaker has his copyright, and IEEE just wants to have it shared, so we have access to it. So the first 3 steps is to launch it. If you have a Mac, the first time you try to launch it, it's going to say, I'm worried that this is, I don't recognize the developer. And so for the Macs, they'll just right-click the file, select Open. You open it up, and it'll ask you, are you sure you want to do this? And so you say yes, and it remembers from now on that was a good application. You saw my name, username, and password. You'll select the audio, and using our equipment, you don't want to use the built-in mic of your laptop. You want to use what they have, an example here. They'll recognize you already have a microphone. Next, you will pick out what display. You have with my laptop, I have a choice of display A and display B, and I want to record B, not A, because that has all my other stuff on it. You also have a camera, a built-in camera on most of your laptops. You have a choice of using that or not. And in the demo movie, I'm going to show you that it'll show up as a picture in the lower right-hand corner. And if your presentation is not crowded, that might be useful for you to have your picture there. But like right now, I'm over here away from my webcam. And then, because we're all sharing John Walz's license, in your title, you can put your last name. I will look up your email address, and when I get the encoding, I'll send you the message so you can get access to your encoding. But normally, the chapter officer who's got their own license would put a descriptive title, a very descriptive description, because we'll be using that as of just a portion of the metadata for searching. And now you're ready to do your test. This is the test button. And if it looks like the audio signals are okay, then you're ready to hit the record. Give your presentation. It has an ability to do a pause. We've done that twice. And then when it's over, usually if the chapter officer is sitting up front and the speaker walks away and there's applaud and all that sort of stuff, they'll walk over and turn it off. So always at the beginning of these talks and at the end you have stuff you want to trim off, and I'll show you how to do that. So this is the trimming part. This is the dead stuff that you don't want to. You're going to trim off at the end and the beginning. And these are the indicators of what you're trimming. If you reverse these two and you see a whole bar of red, then that means if you execute on that, you will get rid of everything. And before I'll give you a couple more slides on what to look for on that. So the speaker's gone. Maybe that night or the next morning, you just want to preview it, make sure you've got exactly where to start and where to end. So you have some. You can watch the whole show again, preview it, go back and forth, pause. And when you get these trim things in the right spot, you want to do a submit. And one failure mode is you've got the trim in the right spot, and I wanted to delete that red stuff there. And I thought, I'll just hit the discard. And if you hit that, you get one warning message. Are you sure you want to permanently discard your recording? And I thought they were talking about that. So I said, yeah, and I lost the whole thing. So as you test this during the lab, you may not want to keep these, so instead of sending them off, you can discard it. But if you want to send something off, I'll send you back the email of what you actually recorded. So the uploading has this dialog box. It says if you're offline, your presentation is now stored in your computer. It'll be automatically begin to upload the next time your computer's online. And the video I'm going to show you contradicts that. They say that you need to be online to do recording, but I think it's only online to make sure you have the right license. But we'll look into that. So here's the email message that we have with our license, and we've been using this for our conference keynote recordings. The chapter recordings that we're doing, we want to have a little bit more metadata besides just the title, the description, and that's a work in progress, but that's what we have right now. This is the link. You click it, you can look at it in your browser. It's in your browser. You can do a right-click, save as video file. You've got an MP4 file. You can take that URL, put it on your section page, web page, or chapter web page. And right now we're using Screencast. That's a storage area that TechSmith has. So I have here a demo that I recorded this morning, so we'll go to run it in real time, not have to download it.
Can be used to easily capture what's on your computer screen. In this tutorial, we'll highlight key pieces of the interface so you can successfully create and submit your first recording. Before we get started, choose whether you want a tour of the Mac or Windows interface.
That's the Windows.
Alright, let's get started. This is your audio input level. It's a visual indication of your audio levels and can help you get a feel for how your audio will sound. Ideally, your levels should stay within the green area, as the levels in the red often result in poor quality audio. The auto adjust feature is enabled by default to help you out with this. But you can click the button to toggle it off or on as needed. If you have multiple audio devices available, you can click the audio tab near the top and select the one you want to use. Another thing you'll see is the recording preview. It shows exactly what will be captured when you do your recording. Right now, you can see it's showing what's on my desktop. If you have more than one monitor, you can click the display tab and select the one you want to record. You also have the option to capture video from your webcam. Just click the camera tab and select an available device. The webcam video will appear as an overlay in the bottom right corner of your final recording. It's also a good idea to keep an eye on the status tab. You have to be online in order to record. Over here, you'll find your presentation details. We recommend you enter a meaningful title and description, so it's easy to tell your recordings apart. Now that we've done that, we're ready to record. If you want to make sure your audio and video are set up correctly, click the test button to make a 10-second recording. Otherwise, click record. After a 3-second countdown, the recorder will begin capturing what's on your screen. When you're finished, stop the recording from the taskbar below. Next, the review window launches. To preview your recording, click the play button. If you need to cut content off of the beginning or the end, click the trimming button and select where you want the presentation to start and where you want it to end. If you want to make changes to your presentation details, or if you didn't add any before you started recording, you can do that here. When you're ready to send your presentation to TechSmith Relay, click Submit. Once your presentation has been submitted successfully, you can click View Now to go to the video on TechSmith Relay, or you can copy the link and share it with other TechSmith Relay users. With the TechSmith Relay Recorder, you can record anything on your computer screen. What if what you want to record isn't happening on screen? Be sure to watch our tutorial about using TechSmith Views to capture real-world content with your mobile device.
So that you've seen the PowerPoints, you've seen the video, and now we want to take about 15 minutes for you to try out the program that you've downloaded. We'll walk around and answer questions. Before we do that, are there any questions concerning that?
So what if you have video content that's not a webcam? Yeah.
So we're going to do this in 3 phases. I call this the manual phase. The automatic phase, it will build you a web page for your chapter, give a catalog of recordings for your chapter coming out of this software, and the same thing for your region, and the same thing for Technical Society. And what you're, I think, asking is, I already got a really nice hour-long video. I'd like to put it in the catalog. Is that the question?
No. What I'm asking is, during a presentation, I want to do a live demonstration. I happen to have some equipment that has a camera on it.
Yes.
I have a video capture device, and I actually use that.
So the TechSmith has a solution for that. You buy their $100 license for a single computer. It's also running, and you have a camera at your whiteboard. And so as the guy walks over to the whiteboard, somebody switches it from camera 1 to camera, laptop to the camera, you do that, he comes back to his PowerPoint.
How about if it's video that's on the screen on my computer?
Well, that video I just did, that was a QuickTime video. So it doesn't have to be PowerPoint, it could be any application. It does take the full screen. People have asked earlier, can we just narrow a box because, you know, but that's the situation. So like I turned on FaceTime with the Mac, so I had my webcam on the left side and I had my PowerPoint on the right side. That works. But it's not pretty looking at me for, you know, that long. Any other questions before you do try out your software? And how many people have downloaded this?
It does run on Mac 6.8.
Does it? Oh, good. And how many people have got their wireless audio system? Good. So those are active users. You can plug it in, see how it works. And I've asked the regional director to come back 5 minutes before we end and give you the charge of what you're going to be doing with this. A question back here?
So we have 8 systems left that haven't been claimed yet. 1 allocated for Region 4. I mean, we have 7 systems left. 1 allocated for Region 4 and 6 allocated to Region 6. So come see me if you want to claim your microphone set.
There should be a power strip.
Speak correctly into the mic. How now, brown cow?
You have another question back there.
Yes.
Hey, John, I got an email from June Lowe saying that he was looking for volunteers for the post-editing. Do you want to make a quick statement about what he was looking for? Do you know? Just if you could make a comment.
Yes. I'm off. Let me try this. So on the outline, step 9 was post-editing. And that we have experts within the region that can take your MP4, send them an email, like this one here has 2 blemishes that has, you know, when I had to change batteries.
Sure.
They will take the MP4, slice off the imperfections, and send it back to you. Or if it turns out you need more gain or too much or whatever, they can adjust that. So basically, because Camtasia gives us an editable MP4 file, you can do these types of things. Yes?
Is the viewership logged in any way so you could potentially credit somebody for PDH or CEU after watching the recorded content?
That is, I think, a useful feature that we like to build into the automatic system. So if you could send an email to j.walz@computer.org, we'll put that in.
Because I think that'd be, for our members at least, that'd be the key driver for them watching a lot of this post content.
Because if they attend a face-to-face meeting, they get the same credit.
Yeah, and we'll log it, sign in and everything like that, so we can report it to the state and everything.
Yeah, because
they're really looking for some way to verify that they actually watch the content and produce a certificate or other post like use. Just check one thing.
When I took Illinois driver's license training recently, they required me to answer questions every 5 minutes, so I couldn't leave it running for an hour and a half.
Yeah, that's the tricky part. Do they actually watch it, but at least some way to verify that the whole thing.
Yeah, we use IEEE email alias to log in, so we know who's viewing it.
Yeah, mixer I showed there was our first Oh yeah. Yeah, you can. Yeah, actually, it's not the only
No kidding.
Henry, you want to figure out
Oh, I see. Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, yes. Yeah, we did. But anyway, but yeah, like I said, we paid for the
This is invitation for the Black Tech presentation tomorrow. Yeah. Well, she'll come right over and things. How you doing? Okay, good.
About 5 minutes.
Yeah, we didn't do it last time. We're kind of busy distributing stuff.
So here's my idea, the commitment we're asking. We want the audio system purchased. We want them to train one or more officers.
I'll be glad to do that. Yep.
We want, and those officers are the ones that are going to request the permanent site license.
Right.
And then we want, they'll download it on their chapters and speakers' laptops. These guys it's really a commitment of these officers to manage the chapter recordings. Because when you send these out, you may say, well, this is a dud.
Yeah, you might want to self-edit.
They have their own, and then we want the chapters to publicize these.
Right, exactly.
While we're in the manual phase. When we get the automatic phase, it'll be a lot easier.
It will be a lot easier, yeah.
And then at lunch, I agreed to set up a discussion group with the 30 people that purchased your system.
Excellent.
And we'll have a Q&A, and we'll have artifacts to share and things like that.
Great. That's good.
And then that's on the private side. On the public side, we'll have a place for people to learn more about it.
Great.
And all that sort of stuff.
Okay, well, let me know when you're ready. I'll be glad to do that. And maybe help and get up.
Justine's back. Nice to meet you.
Just Christine?
Justine with a J.
Justine.
I have an older sister that's Christine, so I kind of respond to
Mom
both.
likes both.
So she wants to know how to get a download on her system and then how she'd be able to run it. So we need a password and all that stuff.
So let me show you. We want your browser set up for that. You can rest it right here. So are you Region 6 or 4 or staff?
I am staff.
Oh, good.
Working on IEEE Collaboratech. So John Day and I are doing the presentation tomorrow.
I've been on the user testing since April.
And how's that been going for you?
It started off, it was negative, and at the end, I'm positive.
Good.
So where'd it go?
It said something about it was.
Oh, capital relay. Why do they put capital letters in the URL?
The connection is not private.
That's okay.
Yeah, not advanced. Because I hit back to safety last time.
They don't have a procedure. Yeah, the computer society has got this, and I know it's not safe. This is Chrome?
Correct.
So it's first and last name, space in between. Lowercase relay 1, 2, 3. It's thinking.
Yep. We've been signing up people for Collaboratech while they're here, and we've noticed it's been a little slow.
Do you want to download the recorder software? And you now have, with this license, you can put on other computers. We're going to get the PC versions of this. And that is this one over here. And that guy's been using this. We had someone do an Android, someone do an iPad. So it's a 4.5 megabyte file. When you install it, it's more like 15.
And my internet speed is really bad right now.
Is it downloaded?
Yeah, and it says it is 21 minutes to go.
Oh my goodness, it was a lot faster. We're doing demos here, so people are trying to upload presentations.
That's exactly.
So you can walk around and find a better part of the internet. But
I don't even know if there is a...
so if you send me an email, I send you my slides to show you how to use it.
Okay, great.
And I'm available tomorrow. And I'll try to attend your meeting, and so if you have any snafus.
Do you want me to do that now, or can I come back about 10 minutes? Or
no, we should do it now, because these guys are going to run off the
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yes.
Is it John Walz at IEEE.org?
J.Walz.
Thank you.
Yeah. Here's the login and password.
Yes.
This is 30 days. Actually,
I guess I need your email to be able to send.
Pardon?
I guess I need your email to be able to send you either
J.Walz
at IEEE
at computer.org.
at computer.org.
Okay. Let's see. You can hear me. Yeah. So just to remind you, what we're asking, the commitment for the section leaders who are here is, get yourself the microphones. Like what we've got here, or if you have something else you want to get. We've tested this. This one seems to work pretty well. If you didn't get a chance to get it here, we can get them through Amazon. They do free shipping. So no.
eBay is free shipping.
Oh, eBay is free. We get it through eBay at free shipping. Okay, so that's a possibility of doing that. We're also, at least for Region 6, and maybe Region 4 wants to do something like this, we're thinking of buying a bunch of these for the area meetings and doing some kind of training, some set of training, or at least have the capability there. So, suggest you get an audio purchase. Your responsibility would be to help train chapter officers, other people in your section, your chapters, how to do this stuff, pass the knowledge along so we can get more chapters recording this stuff, get more hardware, software, and the knowledge of how to use them. And then request the permanent software license versus John's. We're all borrowing John's name here. And then do software downloads on chapter and speakers' laptops. So when you're doing this is Buzzy. When you're doing the presentations, that you can that they will be uploaded and then get them uploaded. And manage the chapter recordings. For instance, sometimes something will fail, so don't bother to upload that. So some amount of at least self-editing, that kind of thing. And then to help to publicize the chapter recordings, especially now, because this is all manual. We don't have all the automatic processes that we want to get going. So, add this to your publicity of events that are going on. And John, it's going to be IEEE accessible, right? So you have to put in your membership thing. So it'd be the link we'd be publicizing the link to where the content is, which is accessible for free to IEEE members. Yes?
Just a question, just to make sure I understand the licensing stuff. So if I have 5 officers that all could, or a technical person and 3 officers, I can all record, they can all get the license and put it on their laptop.
They can all get Camtasia Relay, correct?
Okay.
Yeah.
Multiple computers.
Multiple computers,
Yeah.
and then so then they just have to have one set of microphones that's taken to the talk. Or
If one set will do you for your section, but if you have multiple chapters that meet pretty often, or they're geographically distant, you may need more than one.
yeah, okay, and this license has to be installed in the next 30 days. Is that?
This one.
I don't want this free license to be out forever. So if you can make a commitment in the next 30 days to do your first training, that chapter person could train another chapter person. Because I'd like to change the password.
Yeah, so you'll leave us up for like 30 days?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll send you all an email. Hey, have you done your train the chapter person?
Very good, and tell them how to change it. Yeah. Okay, and then to create some kind of a user group here where we can, we can share best practices and our best presentations. Show how to do. It could be Collaboratech potentially, but not everyone's on Collaboratech yet. So somehow to create a user group and a way of interacting on this. So that's the plan.
Thank you.
One more question here.
Oh, sure.
So I'm wondering for once we publicize those recordings, what's the current plan for putting the tag on metadata so when people do the search from other sections, for example, they could find information better?
You mean like they could look for a speaker
Right,
or a particular topic?
Will be open up through other IEEE members.
How fast will it be before we get that capability, John?
We need to be.
That's not.
No, it isn't. No, well then. Sorry.
Limit of 2 mics.
If you're doing a real chapter meeting, we want you to manually record the author's contact information, the abstract, and save it, because the day we roll out the automatic parts, we're going to have a capability for you to manually insert that, update that record. In the future, remember you put down the title and the description, we'd ask you for the picture, the slides, all that stuff, so you would upload it all at once. So you saw all those different artifacts. So to have a rich target for your search, you need to have these types of artifacts.
So
the long-term plan, the automatic plan, is to have like a web form. So right now that was pretty flimsy, just title and description. So this would be a web form that you would.
But for now, you're going to give us a form in Word that says here we want.
I can do that. Yes.
How do we get request software license? Who do I have to talk to?
So we will send you Ted's email address for the license.
That's Ted over there.
And
send Ted an email. I'm going to have the list of all you guys from Scott, so I'll help you get the continuing license set up once you move from John's over to.
And we plan on having all these presentations and the reference materials, etc., for the recording on the Region 6 website. We'll probably have to put those in a special place.
Are the licenses going to be like Oregon section, or is it going to like Fred Smith?
The licenses are personal, because you have a personal responsibility. That's why we want to bring it down to the chapter officer who manages these technical meetings. They're the ones that have to collect the release form and
You can just make more copies.
Right.
So
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I want to thank you. I see no more questions.
So let's thank Ron.
Let's head back.
Thanks, Ron.
So is there anyone that needs one? Because apparently I'm supposed to talk at 2:45.
That's great. How many do we have left?
We have
Let me turn this off.
5 more to claim from Region 6.